Elizabeth Warren has come out with her Medicare for All plan, and now the reactions are pouring in from people like self-described progressive Nancy Pelosi, who said, "I'm not a big fan of Medicare for All. I welcome the debate. I think that we should have health care for all. I think the Affordable Care benefit is better than the Medicare benefit." I don't know what standard is being used to generate that sentence. It's words in order, but they don't make sense to me. And I know the language. And then talking about Medicare for all and the debate around it in the Democratic primary, one of the biggest policy-based debates currently going on, she says, "Remember November."
Okay.
I think you're supposed to have two remembers there, but I get what you're saying.
All right, so I want to go back to Pelosi in a second, because by Remember November, she goes on to explain that she thinks that if you run on Medicare for all, you're more likely to lose. It's just not remotely true. That's why she's not remotely a progressive, and she hurts our cause every single day. She hurts the Democratic Party every single day. Anyway, but I want to go to Biden and then come back to Pelosi because she's more important. Biden, when questioned about Warren's new plan, responded, quote, "She's making it up." What? What? It's a 20-page plan with incredible specificity. What do you mean she's making it up? And then he says this. Okay, does he counter with incredibly specific numbers? He goes, no. Look, nobody thinks it's $20 trillion. It's between 30 and 40 trillion dollars. Every major independent study that's gone out there that's taken a look at this, there's no way. What does that mean?
He didn't read it.
Now, what is that? What do you mean it's 30 or 40 trillion dollars? She explains that the cost of healthcare in this country right now is 52 trillion, and that the plan she comes up with is a little less than 52 trillion. But then you have to get into the specifics. So 11 trillion of the 52 is paid by the average consumer of healthcare. And then others are paid for through state governments, federal governments, and some version of taxes, and she breaks all that down. For Joe Biden to say, "I don't believe it, 20 trillion, which is the portion that the federal government pays. I think it's 30 or 40 trillion. Based on what? And do you mean the portion that the federal government pays, or do you mean the whole system? He doesn't have any idea what he's talking about. No idea at all. I think she's making it up. I mean, of all people, if you read that plan, or if someone bothered to explain to you what's in that plan, you could say you could disagree with certain parts. Hey, you know what? I don't want to have a financial transaction tax on Wall Street. They fund my campaign. That would be an honest assessment from Joe Biden, right? Or have a real substantive disagreement. I don't think we should cut the Defense Department that much, right? But saying she's making it up is the worst possible answer, because her proposals are so specific and backed up by minutia of details and economic experts that you can't possibly claim she's making it up. So Biden, as usual, totally fumbling, terrible answer. This is why they're gonna get killed when we actually start voting. For him saying, blah, I don't like it. And her saying, here's how you pay for it. Here's what you get out of it. Here's returning $12,000 to the average American. You want $12,000 or don't you want $12,000? He's got a losing strategy and he doesn't have any idea what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, now I want to go back to Pelosi. Guys, the thing you have to decide, what's left now, especially that Bernie and Warren both put out campaign finance reform proposals. I actually wish that they were more specific than they were, but they were pretty good. Then Warren comes out and answers the last remaining question. Medicare for all, it's real, it's progressive. Bernie then goes back and says, oh yeah, I'm gonna talk about corruption within the Democratic Party more. That's awesome. So you've got two mega progressives in the race. I think that those issues are settled. They're both plenty progressive. The question that remains is, who's going to be good enough to get the bills passed? And in order to get the bills passed, you have to get past Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. So they are opposed to Medicare for all. And now the media oftentimes obscures things on their behalf. Well, it's unclear, blah, blah, blah. Well, thank you. Nancy Pelosi just clarified it. She said, I'm not for it. It was super obvious before. She said she was not for it before. She sent her top staffer to tell the healthcare industry, don't worry, we're on your side. You keep giving us money and we're not gonna do Medicare for all. But now she said it publicly, super clear. So the question is, who can get past Nancy Pelosi and defeat her better?
Shahid Buttar?
Shahid Buttar is running against her in San Francisco. You should definitely check out his campaign because these corporate Democrats are in a lot of ways an even bigger threat than the Republicans. We can outvote the Republicans. The Republicans are irredeemable. The question is, can you get the corporate Democrats to actually be progressive? And the reality is, right now as things stand, no. And my thesis on that is you must break them. And people go, oh, they're so uncomfortable. Oh, no, what do you mean? I don't agree. She just said to us, she doesn't agree with us. So if you're standing in my way politically, you either have to change your mind or we need to break you politically so that we can remove your political carcass and move forward and pass the goddamn bill. So who's gonna do that? Warren or Sanders? I don't know, that's a great question.
Think about how ridiculous this is that you're having the top leadership of the Democratic Party try to stop a front runner. How ludicrous is that? Think about the fact that I don't want to give GOP any sort of credit, but the credit that they do deserve was that they noticed that Trump was winning the caucuses. And so they got out of the way for his crazy platform and they let it happen and they fell into line. How does it make sense that Pelosi and Schumer are gonna stop a running train? And the way that she's explaining Remember November is that, okay, this is cool, but we're not gonna win the Electoral College. How out of touch are you? Because this is what Americans are concerned about. These are the folks who in the middle America, the numbers that we depend on with the Electoral College, healthcare is a huge issue for them. So the fact that all you have to do is let her speak and break down how it's getting paid for and how Americans are gonna be finally able to have Medicare for all. Why would you sabotage your own victory?
And I would finally say, if you are going to look to Nancy Pelosi's predictions about what will save or doom the Democratic Party in the 2020 election, look, she stalled on impeachment month after month after month because she just thought, oh God, what happens if we go for it? We'll get killed. And then finally, she gets pushed into doing it begrudgingly. And the polls immediately start to swing in the favor of the Democrats, especially in battleground states. And so her instincts were horrible on that, a huge issue, and it definitely cost the Democrats to stall because of her lack of leadership. I would say she's equally wrong on this issue.
You are not going to persuade her. She is part of the systemic corruption. She has raised incredible amounts of money from those healthcare industries. So you must defeat her politically. She is not your colleague, she's not your ally, and most importantly, what Maytha said, they don't believe in unity. It was a lie from day one. When their establishment Democrats were winning, they're like, unity, everybody bow their heads, bow their heads. Now Warren and Sanders are surging, and not Warren is leading, or is arguably tied with Biden in the national polls. Bernie is now taking the lead in New Hampshire and Nevada. All of a sudden, Nancy Pelosi hates unity. She's like, no, the plans of the leading candidates are terrible and I won't do them. I knew it. I told you guys from day one. They don't believe in unity, they believe in corruption.
Have there been any consequences for Joe Manchin saying that he might vote for Trump over one of the frontrunners?
Of course not. Schumer hasn't said a word about it because the reality is it's not Democrats versus Republicans. It's corporate Democrats and Republicans versus the rest of us. Young Turks. Thanks for watching the Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.